are live. Welcome, everyone, to our Daily Success Call. Power Up, whatever title you want to put on this. I am John Lavenia, your host with the most. I do see, hold on a second here. I see some of my favorite people on planet Earth and beyond. Let's look at some of these beautiful people. Oh, my goodness. There they are. Good to see you all. Let me mute my YouTube so I'm not hearing myself talk in my ear. I see Missy and Katie. Of course, Katie. There she is. Hi, Jan, Crystal, Cynthia. I don't see you, but I know you're here in spirit. I know that your energy is here. We've got Kim and Catherine, Mary, Cecilia, of course. Cecilia's got that very fashionable diaper on her face, looking awesome. Very nice. Anissa's here. DL is in the house. Faye's here. I see Joe, Judith. Tani's here. Hey, Gilbert, good to see you. I missed you the other day. We'll get you rescheduled. Jayton's here. Natasha, Donna. Look at this crowd. Look at these awesome people. And here's Michael. Everybody, that's Michael. He just got started. I just met Michael. Good to see you, brother. So what do you guys want to talk about today? Who's got a topic? Like, for real, I've got exactly nothing planned, so I just figured it's, whatever you guys want to talk about, because we're all making such progress. Yes, please. Come on out, Jayton.
So I've just been going through a lot of the process admin stuff, setting up the Amazon seller account and all that. And because I'm based in the UK, it is more complicated because we've got to think about your individual versus company, and then there's the tax form and those implications, and engaging with a whole bunch of additional stakeholders in the value. And obviously, because doing this for the first time, I think someone else had also previously mentioned it does get a bit overwhelming, but I'm finding that I'm spending a lot more time on the processy stuff and getting a bit caught up in that rather than more on the creative side of things, where I feel the effort needs to go in, because people aren't going to spend money on my processes. They're going to spend money on the stuff that they want.
Sure.
So I'm just thinking of the best way to keep my motivation high enough that I don't get caught up in the processy stuff and the logistics, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, that's one of the reasons why we show up here every day, is because, the spirit with which we do this work, some of which is not pleasing. I'm not tech support, right? And nor am I ever going to be tech support. So like, we have people, you know what, let's take this up. I'll give you a couple ideas on that. Anissa's got her hand up though. So I'm terribly intrigued. Anissa, what's on your mind?
Okay, so I was talking to a friend of mine last night. We usually check in like maybe once a month, twice a month. And she's been wanting to sell T-shirts online and do print on demand. And I said, well, yeah, I just got into this program, the low hanging system. And, we have support calls, and, we both spent a lot of money with all these different programs. And then when you get into the program, you got to buy something else. So I was telling her about this program. I was like, yeah, I got Gear Bubble for a year. She was like, what? She's like, I've been paying for Gear Bubble and I haven't done anything. And I was like, oh, okay. So then we started talking about T-shirts and mugs. And I'm going to show you, I don't know if you can see, this is a T-shirt and you see what it says on it, right? I don't know if there was an expose done on the company that created this shirt, but with 3 words, they've made thousands of dollars. And when she told me that, I was like, I'm overthinking the process. I said, we've got to keep it simple. We've got to not overthink the process. We've got to take little steps every day to get to a point where it's simple. And we just kept marveling over the fact that 3 words on a T-shirt, and they've made thousands of dollars. And it's like, she was like, they come in all different colors. And she's like, there's nothing really saying anything on it, but just the fact that it's so simple. And it was like, the bells and whistles were going off in my head. And I came up with a phrase, actually it has 4 words in it, but, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to go to WordSwag and do my lay out the design and then send it to Gear Bubble and then do the integration with Etsy, but I'm going to keep it simple. So hopefully that will help somebody today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anissa. So we got 2 topics on the table today. This is fun. We're going to have maybe a longer session than usual. Let's see. Well, we do have a couple, like as was just said by Anissa, simplicity, right? So it doesn't have to be complicated. And that, as Jayden said, there are some technical, stops or stalls or hurdles that you get to jump over, right? So there's two things that we're considering here: is the creative side and the constructive side, and both are necessary. All right. And so let me preamble everything I'm about to say with this. Hi, Cynthia. I see your hand up. Let me just give you the preamble, and then we're going to switch gears and hear what Cynthia has to say. So the preamble is, we've got two sides of our brain. If you talk to people who study such things, left brain, right brain, constructive, creative, analytical, and more spontaneous, right? Or conceptual. You get that? All right. So these are two seemingly conflicting sides, and we all have both, right? Some people lean in more direction than the other. I tend to be rather analytical. That's just for me personally. Okay. Others here, right? Like the artist type. Oh, I tend to be more right brain or creative or whatever. So just consider that, and then we're going to move on. Cynthia, you have something to interject, please.
Well, actually, it's interesting because I was kind of thinking in the same way that you were, John, and that is, it's our personality types. And so, for those of us who are creatives, I have to rein myself back in to Jayden's point where, I'm not really that fond of doing those foundational things. But on the other hand, it's like that's what we build everything on. So if we can just keep our eyes on the prize in front of us, that we'll get to those places where we can put the mugs out and we can be creative and do the other things. But everything that we do out there is based on the foundation that we lay now. And so it seems like a lot of work. And I know I've even had issues with Amazon doing my store in the past, and it can be frustrating. I certainly relate to that. But I think the biggest thing is if we do the hard stuff now, then we'll build on that to the things that we like to do.
Beautiful. Okay. And look, all of these problems, right, which keep life interesting, are solvable, right? Something can be done about it, right? You're not a hopeless case, right? So let's just keep it all in perspective. Like, there are people in the world with, like, real problems, like dodging bullets, starving to death, no clean water, dysentery, right? So we're doing pretty good. Okay. We're doing pretty good. That being said, I saw another hand went up and then down. Let's take this up because I think this should be, and it can be, an easy flowing experience. Easy flowing experience. I love that phrase. I got that from actually a sermon I was listening to. Some years ago, and it just stuck with me. An easy flowing experience. But what about all these problems that we've got to solve? All right. Let's start with the fun for a minute, because I think it's just more fun to have fun, right? So Anissa gave us an example of a 3-word lacking of art. In fact, it was a square, right? It's one color on top of another color. I mean, it is the simplest thing. I've often thought, the height of mastery is simplicity. If you can say it in less words, right? That's awesome. In fact, the great philosopher Lao Tzu said, those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know, right? So I guess the ultimate in mastery would be sit there and shut up, right? So in fact, that could be something on your, right? It could be for like the meditation crew, right? So you're hitting like the people who are into like meditating, and like their t-shirt, for their gang is sit there and shut up. Man, enlightenment is upon us, right? So that's simple. And, it's also sarcastic, of course. Okay. But now, Anissa just came up with another 4-word combination. So 25% more words. Anissa, perhaps you could charge 25% more money for the shirt, right? I mean, if you paid $25 for 3 words, maybe, give you $30 for the 4 words. But I've actually seen people running around with shirts that were just, I saw one that was just no. N-O. That's it. That was a whole shirt. Okay. I suppose that could work on a coffee cup. All right. Where couldn't that work? Right. And again, that, what does that all mean? I don't know. Well, let's, whatever meaning we add to it. So this is fun, right? We're having fun. We're having ideas and we're creative. And these are the kind of things that Jayden wants to do, not mess with, technology. right? And as I said, when a lot of us, when we first met, I talked about how the technology will become transparent the more you touch the machine, the more you use it. And that happens on a gradient, right? So like when I was learning to be a diesel mechanic, which was my profession, right? Before I got into, marketing and online business and all this. Day one of the course was not, here's a pile of parts, guys, go build an engine. That was not day one of the course. Okay. Day one of the course was, this is steel. It's a combination of iron and carbon. There are different grades of steel. Guys, pass it around, observe it, bang on it, touch it, lick it, smell it, whatever you got to do, right? Understand, this is steel. This is aluminum. It's different than steel. Pass it around, right? And we use different metals for different purposes, right? Now we're getting into metallurgy and what have you. Okay. And we can make different shapes out of them, and they expand and contract with heat at different rates, right? So there's lots of considerations that go into this. This is why engineers get supposedly paid a lot of money, not nearly as much as we all can get paid here in the sales and marketing universe. Nothing beats that. Okay. But still, right? So we've got metal, various types, right? These are nuts and bolts. See how they fit together. There's a thing called tread depth, right? So it's the basics. It's the most rudimentary stuff. And then, given some time, sure, here's a box of parts, go build a working engine. And I could do that, no problem. But you see how it started at the bottom of the gradient, and then you get up to mastery, which, by the way, I did. I remember I had just a little tangent. Humor me for a moment here, Missy. Humor me. Missy's out there in the Northern Lights. Okay. So there was this old buzzard of an instructor that I had, and it was on the most complicated course, supposedly, according to the curriculum and all the other students, right? Oh my goodness, it's hard to make it through this course. It was on Bosch diesel injection pumps. Right. How many people know about that? Right. Well, I damn well had better know about that. And so supposedly nobody ever aced this test. Like, this test was so hard. Right. And this guy was World War II veteran, and real hard ass, right? And he didn't like me. I was some kid from New Jersey, right? He's a Southerner. So anyway, we had that opportunity, and so I said, I'm going to ace this test, and he threw a challenge down. I don't remember what the penalty would have been or whatever, but I did, and he got to eat crow. I aced the Bosch injection pump test. So why am I even telling you that? Because we'll pull meaning out of this here. Okay, because here's something very complicated that most people can't do. And I would argue that because I was interested, I developed an aptitude for that. Now, currently, present time, I don't work on Bosch diesel injection pumps. Okay, I suppose I could review the course material and brush up on it and get back into it. Just like Jayton, a couple of months from now or whatever, is probably going to have no attention whatsoever, and therefore no interest on like setting up Amazon account. It's done. That's going to be a done. All right. So it's not like a recurring thing you've got to do every week. Okay. But it is one of these humps you got to jump over. The only reason that we will jump over is if we keep our eye on the carrot, which is, I get to design, fun shirts that say, 3 words and fetch, $30. That's $10 a word. Right. Hey, maybe I'll get really creative and do some art and stuff rather than, a square, just to kind of spice it up a bit. Oh, you don't like that shade of green? Well, how about the pink? Right. So how many combinations and possibilities are there? Now we're getting into what many people would call more fun. But, as I quoted Albert Gray when we first met, the common denominator of success, successful people have formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. I don't like doing them either. I just do them. And I do the things that may or may not be pleasing at this moment. Okay. But the reason I do them is because I've got a reason big enough to get out of my own way and do the thing, bite the bullet, so to speak. And this is why my favorite 4-letter word is done. I got other 4-letter words I like too, but done, which means what? Now it's off my calendar. You want to have more time? Get stuff done. You want to have more time to do fun things and creative things? Get it off your calendar. So this may sound too left brain of me. This may sound a bit, cut and dry, but look, anytime here's the thing, anytime that I'm getting stuck in the subjectivity of it all, this is something I have to remind myself to do deliberately. All right. Because I can get stuck in the thick of thin things, as Steve Covey said in his classic books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stuck in the thick of thin things. Right. So I can do that because we're doing subjective work, right? Subjective meaning based on significances and opinions and thought, right? Not objective, right? Not objective. So what's the antidote when I go down the rabbit hole of significance and subjectivity and thinkingness and decisions and oh my goodness, right? And that mental weight is on my head. What do I have to do? Or what can I do? I don't have to do anything. I can sit there and be miserable, or I can stop and I can go take a walk. This is terribly therapeutic, you guys. Oh my goodness. So now I'm out in the world and I'm looking at trees and car bumpers, and there's a stop sign and things that don't require any thought, significance, evaluations, right? My assessment of this or that. I may have an opinion about the leaf on the tree, but you know what? I'll suspend my judgment for now. Let me just look, stop thinking, just look. And you know what happens? We find ourselves in present time, here, now, and all that weight starts to dissipate, right? Just being in present time. I know we're getting into like some psychological stuff here, but I'll tell you what, it is so therapeutic. I've even done this, like, let's say my daughter, right? She's 10 years old and she's getting all frantic with like some schoolwork. She's getting cranky pants, right? And so I'm like, that's it, stop, let's take a walk, right? And I'll tell her, look at that tree. Oh, thank you. Oh, look at that bug on the sidewalk there. You say, oh yeah, thank you, right? She brightens up. Okay, now let's come back and let's tackle that problem. Guys, this just works. It is so simple. So objectivity and balancing that with subjectivity, because we are in a subjective space. Now you come back and look, this happens to me all the time, because I'm in what? I'm in the communications business, right? I run 4 companies. We've got consulting, branding, marketing. We've got all this stuff going on. And so all of that rides on one thing, and that's communication, right? In fact, everything we're doing here in the sales and marketing world is based on that, is communicating an idea to another person, entering a conversation that's already going on in their mind. Why did Anissa's shirt example stick? Why did that stick? Because that was already real in the mind of the person who was receiving that communication, thinking, yeah, you know what? I'll wear that. So you see, this communication is causative. Communication is the foundation for all of this subjective work and all the different modalities we're going to be employing. Are we still live? I'm seeing a warning here. Are we good? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So with that, who's communicating? Great question, right? Someone who's all encumbered with the technology and the problems and all. No. So this happens to me all the time. I'm in the gym, touching metal, moving weight like caveman, and an idea pops into my mind, completely unrelated to the objective action of moving metal. Where did that come from? In Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich, he talked about 13 principles that all of the top magnates of industry, the industrial age, Henry Ford, William Wrigley, these guys, right? There's 13 things that he, after living with these guys for 20 years and finding out how do they operate, how do they think, there were 13 things that he said they all had that they did. And the 13th one is called the sixth sense. If you read the book, right? So the sixth sense, those hunches that we get. Oh, that's a good idea, right? And he said they come, having developed the other 12 principles. I'm not going to enumerate them all for you now. Read the book. In fact, read the books that I told you to read first, because this one's a bit more intense. But go ahead and you develop these other principles, these strengths of character, and then you start to develop ultimately a sixth sense. Who was the guy who came up with the benzene atom, right? As some scientist, he was trying to figure out, the how to make we use that to refine petroleum into gasoline and things like that. So benzene, right? So and then in a flash of insight, like one night at 3 a.m, the molecule appeared before him. That's it. He, in a stupor, he drew it out, right, and went back to sleep. And he woke up the next day. There it is, perfection. Okay, so and that may sound a bit extreme, but again, interest renders aptitude, right? So in fact, I talked about this in my first book. Why did I drop out of trigonometry in high school? I was like, you know what? I can't do this. The truth is, I'm just not interested. Interest renders aptitude. I have no aptitude for this. I'm never going to use this in my life. Maybe you want to go design bridges and be an engineer or something, be my guest, right? And for me, trigonometry, no, not trigonometry, right? Language, communications, psychology, philosophy. Oh, sign me up for that. Other people are like, oh, right? So, develop your strengths and manage your weaknesses. If I need trigonometry done, I've got a staff of employees who can go fetch the trigonometry people and do it. It hasn't happened yet. I'm just letting you know. There's other people who, they like that stuff. I've got a friend who is starting a reporting business. So for e-commerce professionals, right? So here's all your profit and loss and the cost of goods and the fees, advertising, and what's working, what's not. Here's your statistics, right? She loves that stuff, right? So she's a private consulting client of mine, and so I'm like, well then sell it. I mean, look, if I'm doing business online and being creative, let's say, the last thing I want to do is look at spreadsheets, right? In fact, that's for real for me. I really like, you want to talk philosophy? I'm your guy. Don't show me a spreadsheet. Don't show me that, right? Can you solve that problem for me? Here, take that problem. Here you go. Have some money. Thank you. Right. So, and so picture that. So at the outset, back to the original point that Jayton brought up. Yeah, we've got to do some unpleasing things at first. Jayton, I actually had, I had a conversation with someone, not here in this group, but someone else doing Amazon, FBA, sourcing products from India and Vietnam and all that stuff. And they were stopped. Listen to this. Here's fun. I want to talk about fun. They were stopped because there was a question about in what country they were born. And the country was not listed in the drop-down list. Right? So, and I can't get anybody on the phone. Right. So they live in the UK. Nice. Right. We've all heard of that. But apparently Amazon hadn't heard of the country or hadn't included it in the list. So there's a stop right there. Right. How do you solve that problem? I think they did solve it, though. I haven't heard from them about that particular problem in a while. But yeah, these are the problems of online business. Here's the thing, my friends, pick your problems. What problems don't we have? Because we're here using these methods, right? Which also have problems. They also have problems. I mean, think about it like this. Let's say you got a choice. You've got a choice to make, right? One, you could just keep your job, right? In which, at the outset, a lot of people work jobs, right? You got to keep the lights on. You're responsible. That's cool, right? So you're doing your job, but you're doing this other business, right? To do what? To have the option to transition out of that job. Okay, so in this job, you've got problems. One of those problems is that, very little pay, let's say, for example, or you have to argue with the boss, right? Or these other, people that you have to deal with, right? So whatever the, the problems are at the job. Okay. Here we've got problems. Let's say that you really engage in this business and you scale it up and you are crushing it, right? Here's a problem that you're going to have. You know what your tax bill is going to be? I mean, look, if we want to focus on the negative, let's do it. Let's go all in. Okay. You know what? I've paid more in taxes. And granted, we got, entrepreneurs, we got lots of, write-offs and stuff. I'm not a tax attorney. I pay tax attorneys. That's another thing, right? Don't show me the spreadsheet. Here you go. Have some money. And since we're in this game anyway, which I didn't ask to be in, this whole game of money and taxes and finance, right? Well, let's play to win, right? Legally and ethically, of course. Go play the game. Here's some money, and that money that I spend on them solves those problems for me. Okay, but there's still problems that I chose, right? The alternative is stay broke, right? And not have those problems, right? And so, in fact, that's a consideration that some people have when they're getting out of their zone of familiarity, right? Let's say that you've been on like a fixed income or something. And so now you're faced with the prospect of no longer qualifying for your pittance, whatever you get because of your age or disability or whatever it happens to be, right? So are we advancing outside of that comfort zone? Are we playing to win, or are we backing down into safety, security, as miserable as it may be, right? At least it's familiar. Pick your problems. Personally, and I think I could speak for probably everyone here, I've got that entrepreneurial backbone. My worst day as an entrepreneur is still better than my best day ever working a job. Pick your problems. So yeah, we got problems. Sign me up. Let's do it, right? It's a lot better than the other problems. A lot better. I'm not asking permission to go potty. Okay.
No.
What do you think, Marianne? You got a comment on that?
Yeah, no. I
Okay.
just, for me, just starting out has been it very slow start, but once I just got my LLC yesterday. So that just really showed me, hey, this is real. And then I got my taxes started and signed up with that. And it was like, wow, okay, I'm ready. So now this is my first call. So yeah, this is my first one.
Marianne.
Yeah.
Woo!
So I told my husband and I both, we're up early. We're both on calls. He's got his, I got mine. And I said, nope, it's starting, I'm not working right now. So until I have to go to work, I'm not going to. So it's exciting.
Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen.
That's right.
Yeah. Sign me up. That's Marianne, everyone. She's awesome. Glad you are here, Marianne. All right. I see a bunch of stuff in the chat and I can't read and talk at the same time. So I will review all that. Any other comments? Floor is open. I hope some of this gave some perspective. I didn't solve Jayton's problem of the Amazon technology. I can't do that. But it'll get solved. It'll get solved.
I think it's more, no, I really appreciate all the insight and all the motivation from everyone, because you're right. This is more about the who, and this is not about the how and the what. Specifically, right? So I get that. I think that's why I used the words initially, that it does tend to get a little overwhelming, especially if there's quite a few of them. But I would rather get through that now.
Yeah.
Like you said,
right.
Rather get through that now head on than wait for a few weeks and months and whatnot. And yeah. So this is really useful. And I think that the best thing for me was your example of just getting out of the situation, doing something else for a few minutes, because that just gives you a fresh perspective and it opens up your mind. And whether that's going out and looking at the rain, as we have lovely weather in the UK always, although today has been a little sunny. So that's great. But yeah, just getting a different perspective, looking at, I don't know, nature, or just talking to someone for a few minutes on a different subject. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jayton. And thank you for taking the coaching, because look, all of my suffering, it comes from my story about it and projecting, oh, my problems aren't going to be solved and this is more of a problem. And so all the subjective thinking about it is actually, there's more suffering in that than actually just solving the problem, objectively, right? So just keep it in perspective. You got a roof over your head. You're on the internet. My goodness, man, you're like king of the rock over here. You're going to do just fine. Yeah, and you're a smart guy. I know you are. You're going to do just fine. Anybody else want to come out here? Have some words. Anybody else got words? No other words today.
Hello.
Oh, hey, it's Cecilia, and she's on 86th Street.
Oh, you can see. I'm in New York City. Yeah, it was raining really hard here, so it's lighting up. So I'm walking. I just wanted to say that yesterday, Prime contacted me again, to set up my business and to see on the tax side, how they can help me and stuff. And I'm excited. They're very professional. I talked to at least 3 different people. They're on point. And I like that. And I'm very excited to be working with them. They offer a lot and, things that I didn't even think of, which so that's great. So I'm going to get on board this week. Yeah.
Very cool.
So
congratulations.
yeah.
And what
Thank
she's
you.
referring to, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a third-party vendor called Prime Corporate Services that works with Americans, and I think Canadians as well. And they love doing what they do, which is setting up corporations, tax documents, or whatever, for a fee, and it's not insubstantial. All right, they, depending on your state and your needs, you could spend thousands of dollars a year with them. So just to let you know, that is an opportunity. And again, Cecilia, that's not her thing, right? Oh, wow, the documents and logistical paperwork and yeah, here, have some money, go get it done. Thank you.
That's exactly what I did.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And in fact, they're the ones that are helping me set up my Amazon. I have an appointment next month to get my Amazon account set up.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, next month, it just clicked on July as of a few hours ago.
No,
So
my appointment's not till August, unfortunately.
okay. Well, let's see what we can get done, even before then, because
Yeah.
you're going to be learning some stuff that, of course, you can do yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So there are some basics and things you can do yourself. But yeah, that again, that's just an example. Thank you, Marianne. That's an example of, here are people who are swimming in data and proficiency on this thing that Cecilia is not interested in. Okay, fantastic. Interest renders aptitude. They're very interested and they're really good at it. So, all right. Anybody else before we wrap up today?
Hey, John.
Hey, is that Darla? Hey, Darla.
It's Darla here. Yeah. Trying not to crash. I probably shouldn't be talking
please
while I'm
don't.
driving,
Please don't.
but trying to multitask while I'm doing two things at once, getting my dog to the vet. But isn't there a call on Fridays that we can join for some of the tech stuff and get tech advice? If I remember seeing something like that on one of the emails or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I
So
remember right.
Adam, the head coach, Adam. Does anybody know when that is? It's not on my calendar. It's not my post.
It's on a Tuesday or a Friday.
Tuesdays and Fridays. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just know the UK time. UK time is 9 p.m. So
It's 1 o'clock.
It's
West
4 p.m. Eastern time.
Or
There
1
you go.
o'clock West.
There you go. 1
Perfect.
o'clock Pacific, 4 Eastern, right? Add 5 hours for the UK. Add a bunch more hours for Sydney. Yeah. So, all right, good stuff. Oh, there it is, right in the chat. So, Darla, it's in the chat. You're driving, so that doesn't help you. But there you go. Tuesday, product creation and idea generation, 4 p.m. Eastern US. Every Friday, tech and account setup help.
Yeah.
Anybody could use that? Yeah. All right. So Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
And by the way, most of those sessions are also recorded in the training.
There you go. Thank you, Avril. So sessions are recorded, just like this one is right now, lest we miss out on some pearl of wisdom forevermore, right? So someday, you know what's going to happen, Missy? Someday the Martians are going to land and they're going to get these recordings and they're going to be like, you know what? Wow, these people knew some stuff. All right, Cynthia.
I just have a question. Does anybody have the link for that Tuesday, Friday meeting? Is it Zoom? Do we go on Facebook Live? I mean, how do I find either?
If I can interject, I'm pretty sure it's a Zoom because I remember there was an email and it was a sign up that, and I went right into my Google Calendar. And if I go into my Google Calendar and look at it, there's a Zoom link there.
So it's Zoom. Okay.
Yeah, it's on an email.
Yeah. And
From
Jayden
your-
just
Quote
put, you
for
see,
sure, but I'm pretty sure.
there you
So
go.
look for email.
I'm sorry, Cynthia, you were saying?
So look for email. I have so many emails I'm sorting through here because there've been some glitches. But I guess I'm inundated with emails. I'm not sure where exactly. So what is that called exactly? The meeting, so I know what to look for in email?
So it's.
Can I-
Jayden
can
put
I
it in the
jump in?
chat. Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Can I say? Oh, sorry.
Hi, if you look at emails from your accountability coach,
Yeah.
he has put the links for John and for Adams in every single email he has sent me.
That's right.
So I'm
Okay, so-
guessing all the accountability reps do that.
Yeah, that's right.
So
on
that I saw that link or whatever for Adam, is that the Zoom meeting or is that how to contact him directly?
I think that's the Zoom meeting.
Zoom.
I just
Yeah.
put the link on there.
Donna
And,
just put the
and there's
link
a
to the
link
Zoom.
to the.
Okay,
to
thank
the-
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
the link and then you click on whatever your time zone is and what time it is. There it is.
Very good. So we got multiple links now from Jayton and Donna and DL. There you go.
That's the exact schedule. The one
Everybody,
put in it is the exact schedule with all the countries' times and link.
Yes.
Very
I like that
good.
car.
Yeah, it's a Bugatti. That's there you go. Now you know. DL. Bugatti. So my friends, we're gonna go. Oh, wait, we got more hands up. So DL just spoke. So DL, drop your hand. Cecilia, you had something? Cecilia, please. Cecilia?
Cecilia's muted.
Cecilia.
It's DL's time to speak.
Oh no, DL just spoke, right? DL, you're good? Yeah?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Am
I'm
I
good.
am I you can hear me?
Yep, you've got the floor.
Okay.
Cecilia.
I have a hard time hearing. I'm sorry. Yes, so I was just gonna suggest that when you get your emails, I think it's helpful to make a folder just for the emails. And as they come in, if you can't get to it right away, just like, there's a flag option. I have Outlook, so it has a little red flag, so that's the stuff that I need to look at. And then the ones that's really important, like, even if I get to it, I still have to do something, or it has something important, like an important link, I pin it. So it's always like there in my face, and then when I have the time, I go back to it. And as I do things, because sometimes we get repetitive emails, like giving a reminder, like this thing's coming up. If you're already done, it's done. Unpin it, unflag it, and that goes, to like wherever it's supposed to go. But everything important to you is going to be flagged and pinned. And then you can go into those emails and cut, like a cut and paste kind of thing onto like a Word or notebook kind of, function where you can have like whatever it is, whatever title it is that, like for the different links that are given to us. So it's as a reference to go back to, and when you click it, it goes automatically to that page. I think that's helpful.
Thank you.
And yeah, maybe somebody can explain if people have difficulty doing that.
Okay, so what Cecilia said and what she said before, right? So this is a recurring suggestion. Maybe we should put a little training document in place so you can create folders in whatever email client you're using, and then here's the the relevant emails from your inbox. Just drag them into the folder, and now you've got a running archive and references. And so we're just creating order, right? That's all. Categorization. All right, my friends, we got to wrap up. I will be back here with you tomorrow if it pleases the group. Does it please the group?
Yeah.
it does.
Okay, very good. Very good. I shall be back tomorrow. A few of you I'm meeting with today on launch sessions. I'm excited. I will see you guys there. In the meantime, have an awesome day, everyone. You totally
I'll see you
deserve it.
too.